I'm Josh Muccio, and from Gimlet Media, this is The Pitch, where real entrepreneurs pitch to real investors. A few months back, The Pitch hosted its first ever live show. It was at Gimlet Fest, Gimlet's first ever podcast festival. And at that live show, we did things a little differently. We brought 3 startups out on stage to pitch to 2 of our investors. And those investors chose one winner at the end of the show. All right, let's get to it. So, without further ado, let's introduce the investors. All right, so number 11 from the Structure Capital, tenacious but gracious, Jillian Mattis. I think you have some fans here, Jillian. All right. And number 0, because in his words, he's not a real big fan of sports, but he loves video games. Long walks on the... No, that wasn't it. Video games, working out, and playing chess. No BS investor, Michael Hyatt. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the real heroes on our show. Introducing our first founder, Rami with Honeyfi.
Hello. Hello, Brooklyn. So, managing money with a partner is never easy. And for today's generation, it's even more complex because of the way they think about finances. Millennials are getting married later, typically dual incomes, and don't merge their finances the same way our parents' generation did. In fact, 2/3 of millennials don't merge their finances even after getting married. My wife and I are a perfect example of this. We got married in our early 30s. I know I look young. We both worked, and even after having kids, we never got a joint account. It was good in some ways. I could go to Wendy's without feeling guilty. But at the same time, there were some things that weren't so good. We'd occasionally miss bills because we weren't communicating with each other on who was paying what. There was also an underlying tension that who was paying enough, or were we paying an equal share of the household finances? And it led to some rough nights on the couch. It's true. We looked for solutions, right? We wanted to try and find something that could help us manage our money the way we thought about it, but we couldn't. So I got together with my partners and we said, guess what? We've got the banking expertise. We've got the technical capability. Let's build this. And that's how Honeyfi was born. Honeyfi is a platform to help couples integrate their finances and achieve their goals together. We launched at the end of last year on both iOS and Android. We've been growing about 30% month over month since January. We're raising our seed round to take Honeyfi to the next level, and we'd love if you join us to help redefine couples' finances.
So it's like Mint. It's like Mint for couples.
It's like Mint, but better.
Okay, so first of all, tight pitch, good job. Question, there are a lot of competition. So the competitive landscape, has been done. One of the best ones is Honeydew. So what's your special sauce? What's your differentiator? Because that's a critical part of really this.
Absolutely. Well, one, we have a better name than Honeydew. Honeyfi goes much further. But we actually think we're solving a different problem than Honeydew. So Honeydew, and from what we've seen and what we know about them, is focused more on helping couples manage bill splitting at the end of the day. We're working to go much further than that. So for example, we've just signed a bank partnership to integrate a savings account into the experience so we can help couples actually save for those goals as opposed to just the accounting aspect of it. And we're also going to integrate other products as it makes sense. We're much more focused on how do we help the couples go forward together versus what they're dealing with today.
So how does this work? So, wow, I'm going to say this really early, and Josh is going to look at me. So let's talk about the business. So you're bringing people on, husband and wife or partners or whatever, and are you trying to make a play on the savings? Are you getting revenue from the big data? Like, where are you making money, and how are you making money?
Yeah, so we have 3 revenue streams. Savings will be one, so we'll share in the net interest with our partner. Also referrals. So as we understand what the challenges are couples are going through, so they're about to have a kid, we talk through life insurance, 529s, et cetera, wills, trusts. So we think we'll be in a very good position because these are not your millennials that are looking for avocado toast, no offense, but these are people that are going through major life decisions, especially financial life decisions.
Do you find that people want to share this information? I think there's probably couples who want to share it, and then people like, maybe I don't want them to know. Do you want to know everything in your partner's bank account? Does that? Really? Yeah? Is it a yeah?
Yeah, the women are saying.
Is it?
The men are saying.
Show of hands.
Yeah,
How many people want to see what's in their partner's bank at all times? How many people want to share what's in your bank account at all times?
No.
There you go.
So, but exactly. So that's why we built Honeyfi. You get to choose what you share with your partner.
Oh.
Yeah, but that's a whole. That's
so I can
a
cut out
dynamic.
certain places.
You can hide accounts if you'd like, or you can hide transactions if it's a gift or something like that.
Oh, naughty.
So
okay.
question.
This is a much better app now.
Right. How many of you out there, just curiosity, hide something from your partner in terms of some of your spending?
No.
Oh, one guy with integrity. A couple of people here.
2 honest people.
Yeah.
They're with their partners. Who's going to admit that?
Yeah, with your partners. That's a dynamic of this. It's the behavioral piece that I worry about with this. Is really how much is really going to be honest, and how much do you want to?
I really like the space you're in and what you're doing. I think this is a winner. What convince us of something that I think we're trying to get at here is, how are you going to stretch out? I mean, it seems like someone can recreate this app, get traction, and the big thing is going to be marketing costs or customer acquisition costs and getting going. How do you run fast enough to get enough size to matter where I guess you get acquired by an FI or whatever it is? Like, what's the plan here to really get this to be big and branch out? Because I don't think you're doing anything that's not being done. I like the name. There's other names close to yours. I'm struggling to see why it's you.
Yeah, no, great question. So for us, our growth to date has been all organic, right? So we haven't had the funds, frankly, to spend money on it. So we've been hustling essentially to do a lot of content marketing. So we've done some surveys to understand the relationship between money and finance and happiness. And that's gotten us into Forbes and CNN Money and establishing ourselves as the financial or family financial experts. We're also starting to establish partnerships with distribution partners. So think premarital counselors. Millions of people go through religious and sometimes non-religious premarital counseling. How do we insert ourselves into that program?
Really? Is that the biggest one?
Not the big, well, it's fairly
that's a
large.
surprising one.
But then also working with employers. So creating this as an employee benefit that they can give out to their...
That's better.
Well, talk about your CAC. Talk about your CAC, your cost of acquisition. Yeah.
So as I said, most of our acquisition has been organic. So we haven't put much into marketing. When we've done tests, it's around $10. And at the previous startup we were at, which is also in the fintech space, we were able to see between $7 and $8.
And how much is a client worth to you?
We can make on average about 100 LTV.
And how many clients do you have?
We have just under 10,000.
Okay. And how long since you've launched?
7 months.
And just question, why do you think this is a product and not just a service? Because Mint or any of those others could actually build this out, correct?
Yes and no. So Mint specifically, they have a challenge in that they make a lot of money today referring to banks, credit cards, deposit accounts, et cetera. And their parent company, Intuit, makes a lot of their money selling services to banks. So the moment they start to integrate banking products, they compete with those banks. So Mint specifically, I don't think would do this. But doesn't mean there won't be other competitors.
How much you're raising? What are you going to do with it?
We're raising $1.5 million, and it goes essentially to build the team out. So today we're not paying ourselves anything, so we need to pay ourselves. We want to hire a couple more engineers and a marketing person. And then we're also going to do some actual marketing.
Okay. Josh, thoughts?
Are you done?
I'm not sure there's not...
Surely you have more questions.
I do have more questions.
Your business, I get, just take me through one more time. Why you over the others? Like, what are you offering? Is it just like, are you just saying, I can run faster and better to partnerships than other people? Because I'm not sure I buy that. So what is it? Like, I'm actually interested in investing.
Yeah.
I actually like the space. I like what you're doing. But why? Is it you? What is it?
Absolutely. So I think ultimately the problem is not a technology problem, right? It's a banking problem. It's a psychological problem, understanding people's preferences. So our team, so myself, I've worked at Bank of America. I've worked at Ernst & Young in management consulting, advising large banks. Prior to this, I was COO at a startup here in New York called Movin, which was one of the first alternative or digital banks. And I helped grow Movin's business from the ground up, both in the US as well as internationally. And we believe that this is a global opportunity. We have people today trying to use our app from Denmark and wherever else, and they're very angry at Canada, and they're very, very upset that they couldn't get
Canadians never get angry.
Never get angry.
It's a lie.
They are. They just don't show it. They're very repressed.
So why did you start this business?
Honestly, it was a combination of personal and professional. On the personal level, my wife and I struggled with it. When we found out we were having our third kid, we suddenly realized, can we still live in New York? Can we afford to put our kids through school? Should we move out to the suburbs? And we ended up having a much bigger conversation, I'll say, than we intended. And we realized we'd never actually talked about finances together. We'd never actually come up with a plan. We'd never actually agreed on how we were going to do things. And that tension had sort of always been underneath the surface, and it bubbled up.
But you did know about Honeydew, or did you not at that time? Was it not around? And did you look at other, apps and alternatives?
Yeah. So we technically started before Honeydew did. We took a break when we moved. We had a third kid and all that kind of stuff, which slowed our development down a little bit. But I don't look at competition purely as a bad thing, right? I mean, I can tell you John Hancock spent significant sums of money trying to create this. And we talk to banks, my friends who work at banks, and they're trying to solve this problem every day. How do we capture millennials, especially couples, because they know they are the most important customer base for them. And so for us, we think that's a great validation.
Okay.
So how many people on the team?
3.
What's your burn?
Just under 5K.
5K?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard that in my life.
You're not paying yourselves.
Is
We're
that
not, we're not
food
paying
budget?
ourselves.
Yeah, what is that? I should
lunch.
have to say.
We're not,
That's great.
Coffee.
Where are you? Is this out of your house? Obviously, no rent, no anything. Is it?
Yeah, you guys out of your house right now?
No, so we're based in Charlotte, so it's just a cheaper market.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
Time is up.
What?
Time
I just
is
was getting
up.
okay.
You're just getting, I know.
Just getting going.
I know, it's hard.
All right.
Rami, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well
Excellent.
done.
Thank you so much.
Fantastic.
Great.
Woo!
Very good.
All right. Our next founder is PK Banks with CBlocks.
Hey guys, it's great to be here. In developed economies, 70% of people know about cryptocurrency, and yet only 5% own any. There is a tremendous market gap between awareness and adoption. And there is a tremendous opportunity to capitalize on that if we can just get to the core of why that gap exists. To get most cryptocurrencies, you have to find your way to an obscure exchange. You have to probably wait on a wait list, go through some complex UI that's tailored to a trader, not to like an ordinary consumer. And the worst part about it is you can't just buy cryptocurrency with a credit card or US dollars. Right? You have to actually bring cryptocurrency from somewhere else, use it to get cryptocurrency. Well, this is way too much to ask for an ordinary person to get through. So take a moment and close your eyes and imagine with me a world in which getting cryptocurrency is as easy and familiar as placing an order on Amazon and having it sent to your door. Well, you can open your eyes now. You don't have to imagine it because I'm holding that solution right here. We acquire 5 cryptocurrencies for you out of the top 100 by market cap. We secure them using military-grade encryption on this device. This is a CBlock, and it is the starter kit to join the cryptocurrency revolution. So we launched a pilot, and in 30 days, we generated sales of more than $30,000. We had international interest, shipping to customers in 8 countries on 5 continents. And so we're doing a seed round. to launch our product in Canada and to make cryptocurrency within reach for anybody. Yeah.
There you go. Okay, so let's walk through what's on that key.
Sure.
So I order that key.
Yeah.
And is that an electronic wallet on there? And then you update it electronically?
It's
Or
a
what's on
USB
it?
drive, right?
This
It's a
at its
USB,
core
right?
is a USB drive. And for those of you who aren't familiar, cryptocurrencies have wallets, and that's what describes a private key that gives you the credentials to sell cryptocurrency. And a wallet is really just that private key.
Okay, but I buy that, and you
Yep.
send it to me about 5 cryptocurrencies.
Yep.
This is the 5 top market caps. So like
Out of the
Bitcoin,
top
Ether,
100.
EOS, top 100?
Yeah, out of the top
Okay,
100.
so you get top 100. I
Yep.
bought 5. You send me it, and
Yep.
there's $50 on there?
We have packages of
Different packages? Okay, now I got the key.
Yes.
Okay, now what do I do with it?
Great. So we have clients who we've interviewed to follow up and say, what is it that you've done with your product? And the responses vary. The themes are, first, they love owning it. Merely like having it allows them to be a part of it. The next response is, I use this as a gateway to crypto because it was too hard to get started. So we had one particular customer say, I've joined the online communities of the currencies that I've acquired, and I've even started mining.
Okay, but stop there. So I've got the 5, and if I want more, you can send me more electronically. Do I buy another key?
This is a natural follow-up request that we have from our customers.
So one-time buy key of
One-time
whatever
buy.
size.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, so I have so many problems with this. All right, I'll have to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, there are huge regulatory problems, huge, which I think is probably why you had to move to Canada. Or did you start here and have to move to Canada, or did you start in Canada? Be honest on this, because the
Yeah.
regulatory issues around this are
I think she's onto something.
insane. Okay,
No one
that's
starts
my-
in Canada when you start
Yeah.
in the US.
I'm not trying to be, mean here. I'm just trying to be really honest. I need you to be honest on
Sure.
this.
The reason why we're launching in Canada is we discovered that Canadian regulatory agencies are much more accessible and willing to work with businesses to make cryptocurrency and digital currency.
So let's go back to your business. How is this not a gimmick? Okay, here we go. So this is, you're selling people a key. It's almost like you're selling unsophisticated people a physical object with a randomly generated top 100, coins. Here's the problem with the coins. The coins you're selling are, I don't know, people are buying the coins because they believe in them. They have some utility or they're doing something. But I don't know what it is. I don't know what the coin does. And then I'm not even sure I'm going to get liquidity out of this coin.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why am I buying this besides buying, I don't know, some other trinket at a I just don't get it.
Sure. Let me take you back to how we got here, and that'll help explain how this isn't a gimmick. And so I have a Wall Street background. Before a software developer, I was a hedge fund manager for almost 10 years. Okay. So I have a lot of people in finance. They come to me saying, what is up with this crypto stuff and how do I get started? It is too hard to understand. It's too hard to get started. So I tell them, like, here you go. This is how you go through the exchange. PK, would you just make it easy for me? I would love for you to just pick. I want to get started. This is how the product first
why don't you
came
just
out.
pick Bitcoin or Ether, two
Right.
of the big ones, or something really,
Sure.
really big.
Okay, and
Right.
Let them
And
buy it.
also, once again,
Sure.
why is this not a pump and dump? First of all, I mean, basically, you are, and the fact that, you were hedge funds, it makes a lot of sense to me, actually. But, you're very bright. I mean, clearly you're super, super bright. So I'm not negating that. I'm just saying that this seems a little bit scammy. And what's a process you go through to validate these companies?
Sure.
And how are you picking these for me, one? And how are you not gaming the system by
These companies, you mean these cryptocurrencies?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because it can be, you're elevating, right, the appetite
Sure.
for them. You are the appetite
So
for
are
them.
they buying this to spend it, or is it an investment vehicle?
No, you can't
We view
spend it. There
this
is no way
so
to.
we view this as a product, not an investment, and it's an opportunity to get started and to learn how it works more than trying to trade. So most of the cryptocurrency businesses out there, they're either issuing their own tokens or coins, or they're facilitating the exchange of them to make money, to pump and dump. with our product, we ship you the random selection to alleviate you of the need to analyze which ones you need to pick, to analyze which one is valuable more than the other. And we don't facilitate the trading of
Imagine
of
you
the
do that with
coin.
stocks. Would you think that was a good idea? You send me a key with 5 stocks randomly S&P. Do you think that's a good investment?
So if we were to do that with stocks, I'm not so sure that's all that different from, say, joining a new exchange that I won't name and getting a randomly chosen stock because you signed up, right?
Yeah, okay.
Right.
I wouldn't do that either.
So this is random. Can you just clarify what randomly choosing?
Sure, let's go through
Okay,
that. Yeah.
okay.
So it is truly a random selection.
Okay.
There is an algorithm that we write that is a random selector out of the top 100.
Okay.
There is no analysis provided by us. We don't give guidance on which things to buy. And so in that way, we tailor the solution to be a product, not an investment.
Okay.
How do I sell my coins, the one you just sent me?
We provide you with a private key and an opportunity with guides that we have as content on our site that give you the instructions for how to sell it.
And that's assume how you monetize some of this as well in terms of the
We
transit.
do, yeah. So it is not a natural way to use this to sell it,
Right.
but
Okay.
you have the ability to do so because you own the private keys yourself.
Can I say something positive?
Yeah.
You'll be shocked. Are you shocked?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. There are two things. First of all, one. See, she doesn't like it either. But okay. So internally, that's how I'm feeling. But let me say something positive. I am going to say something positive because I really believe that in order to work and be a good investor, you want someone to roll their eyes, okay? You want to have a contrarian company. You don't want all of us to sit here saying, oh, this sounds fantastic. That's not what you want. You want to hear the no's, but you want to hear interesting, right? No's. That's the way that you're going to learn. That's the way you're going to evolve. So let me give you the flip side because you heard all my no's, all right? Putting aside all the regulatory issues and the fact that this may be a little bit of a pump and dump, and the fact that you had to move to Canada to avert all the regulations here in the US. If you look on the flip side of this, I think utility tokens are dope. I think they are exactly where all companies should be. And I think tokenizing is going to be the path to success for a lot of companies. And so I do think this on-ramp that you're creating is a positive if you can get all these pieces. Yes?
Yes. Thank
Okay.
you.
Michael, what do you think?
Yeah. So, look, I think that cryptocurrency in general is I think a good 98% of it's going to get washed out, and I think you know that as well. I think what you're doing is cute. I think it's gimmicky. I think you can be better than this. Let me tell you how I think you can be better. I think selling people that key would make sense if you use your expertise to give them things that you thought would go up in value, or at least have liquidity or utility. Like, no one in this audience should ever invest in anything unless you do the homework. And if you don't, we all deserve to lose our money. You got to do the homework. And I actually believe that people should do the work behind cryptocurrency and buy things they believe in for a reason. You know, for example, you might say right now that Ethereum is really good because most developers in the world on crypto are on Ethereum. You know, so there should be reason behind the investment. So I think if your key had some things that you selected and people spent $100 or 50, something de minimis, and it was expertly curated, I think that's thoughtful. The randomness,
You don't like that it's random.
So I don't like the randomness. Right. I don't like, it's kind of like, it's almost like a pretend way of investing on this. And I think people should do the homework. I don't think that one thing people should know about all the tokens you buy, the likelihood that you can get liquidity on most of them is very low. For example, on the top 100, there's a whole bunch on there that only trade on certain networks and are very hard to get any money out of. Those things that people just don't know. It's easy to buy, very hard to sell. So, I mean, as an investment, no, I don't like this. I think it's cute. It's almost like I tie this to be something like you'd buy at Niagara Falls at a gift store, you know?
Well, you went on something, hold it. I'm going to stop on that because you brought up something really interesting. A long time ago, I had a problem with a company called Robinhood, right? There we go. And I was so wrong. I mean, I was so wrong. So basically what Robinhood is, it's you buy these stocks, you have no background, to
They just
it.
crushed it. They raised that.
It's
What was it?
$5 billion is basically it. And so, I mean, this company went right through the roof. You had no education on this of what the stocks you were buying. And I thought that was so irresponsible, I can't tell you. I think there's irresponsible to this a little bit, and I don't know all the bits and pieces, and I'd have to dive in. But I think this is one of the cases where I really didn't like this company, really didn't like them when you were first pitching it. But I think that there is something that we have to sort of opt in a bit on this in terms of where this might go. And once again, using this as an on-ramp to cryptocurrency for the expansion of what I think is going to be a very big future in blockchain.
All right, time. I'm sorry.
Great.
We have to go on. We have one other company to see. Thank you very much, PK.
Thank you, PK.
Thank you.
When we come back, one final pitch. And then the investors pick a winner. That is, if Jillian and Michael can agree.
You don't understand me.
Yes. Yes, I don't. Yes, I fucking don't.
Welcome back. You're listening to The Pitch Live, a startup competition. All right, finally, our last founders, Scott and Dan with OpenBottle.
Hello.
Hello, Josh. Hello, investors. How are you?
Time for a
Are
sample.
we
right.
going for a drink?
Woo.
No? Is that a note in a bottle?
We are. We're.
Was that the one I tried in the green room?
Oh, it has
That was
open
really good.
bottle. Okay. they have
Unfortunately,
open
no.
bottle.
They have some nice wines.
So, hello, Brooklyn. Woo! I'm psyched to be here. My name is Dan Roycroft,
And I'm Scott Steffen, and we're the co-founders of OpenBottle.
and this is an amazing bottle of wine. But what's not so important about that bottle of wine, it's how the bottle was emptied. You see, a couple weekends ago, myself and 5 others, almost complete strangers, got together to share and experience that bottle.
The bottle of wine Dan was holding is a 1998 Penfolds Grange. Amazing wine. 60-second finish, just fantastic wine. It's on my bucket list. But this is the problem. So that bottle is $400, maybe $500, plus tax and tip to buy it. And I want to taste it as an individual. And I can't do that. It's too expensive to buy the entire bottle.
Well, that's not the case anymore with OpenBottle. We have a patent-pending technology called Reserva Glass. And with Reserva Glass, users can review listings, select wines that they're interested in, and reserve 1 or 2 or 3 glasses of a particular bottle.
For the restaurants, it's that simple as well. We can list everything on their wine list or anything they want us to list on their wine list in the OpenBottle app. Then they can sell these wines by the glass. There's a reserve. Once it hits the reserve, that glass is sold for the restaurant and there's zero risk to them.
Oh.
Ah. That was that bing. So, help us and join us to uncork a $14 billion industry. OpenBottle is literally transforming the way wine is purchased, shared, and experienced. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. Okay. So there are so many positive things about this. Let's talk a little bit about the economics, though, of it. I mean, I get why restaurants would do this. I also think hotels would do this for sure. All right. I'm an investor in Michael Mina Group. We have 30 restaurants, and I get this. But tell us a little about the user experience. How far in advance do you have to order this? And also, is this, I mean, for the older group, the older subset, I don't know if I would spend time online, I assume,
Hold on.
taking a look,
Answer the
right?
first question. Go through the economics. Go
Yeah.
through your first question.
So can we reframe the economics question? I'm just trying to...
Yeah.
How do you make money?
How do you make money?
Yeah, so we make money basically through the restaurant. So Right now, it's a subscription fee as well as a small percentage on top of every transaction for that glass.
So walk us through that. So
yeah.
the restaurant subscribes to your app, and
Correct.
users subscribe to the app. I walk in, somebody opens a bottle, and I buy a glass out of it.
No.
The restaurant pays.
Walk us through this
Yeah,
thing
okay.
step by step.
The restaurant pays a monthly subscription to have access to the OpenBottle network, right? So there are everyone carrying around a phone here, I think,
I don't
maybe.
like that.
So everyone has the app on their phone. Restaurants can speak directly to those consumers now. They have a channel. Okay. So the restaurant pays a subscription to have access to the network.
How much?
Every time it's $30 to $40 a
Our
month.
current model is 30.
Okay, 30 a month.
Yep.
Okay.
Every time someone reserves a glass, we take a percentage of that glass price.
How much?
10%.
So those
I'm
are the
just confused why people are doing this. I go to a restaurant, order a bottle of wine, or buy a glass. You're saying people just reserve a glass before they get there?
absolutely.
Yes.
What? Really?
Because
but I mean,
people-
you buy the glass or buy the wine. Are you saying that because it's an unopened, it's not a normal buy the glass bottle?
Correct.
Exactly.
Correct.
Yeah.
One of my biggest pet peeves is going to these restaurants to have these bloody glasses of wine that are so mediocre, right? That you think to yourself, okay, I won't have it. Where this actually restaurant would definitely be able to optimize because they'll really be able to dip into some of their big bottles.
But if you open a bottle and only sold one glass, what happens to the rest of it?
No, they don't. That's what they're saying is you won't be able to, am I right? You won't
Correct.
be able to open it up
Yeah,
unless
the
you
restaurant has a
reserve.
reserve, so
Right.
they can.
Okay, so we gotta bring Michael with us. Okay.
Right. I don't know if the millennials will actually spend time really looking and seeing what wines are interesting, or are they? So tell me about your customer acquisition right now.
Can I address the user experience really
Yes,
quick?
please.
Okay, so think of it this way, right? We're in a boring conference room listening to someone drone on about something that we're not interested about. Your phone buzzes. Yep, you're the person who's looking at their phone but should be paying attention in the meeting, and it's a noise from OpenBottle. Your favorite restaurant or a restaurant in your area just listed a great bottle of wine.
Oh.
I tap on it. It's from OpenBottle. Holy smokes. Thursday happens. This restaurant on Thursday between 6 and 11:30 p.m. is going to make this bottle available for buy the glass servings. By the way, they'll have a great pairing with it, all this other information. Reserve your glass now. I think to myself, Thursday's date night. I've been looking for a reason to go here. I got my wine. Reserve
Now
now.
it's date
But
night.
here's the issue,
Okay.
right? I mean, you're assuming that that's how people buy wine. What you're describing is a niche subset of the wine. You have to really be into wine to do what you're doing. To look at your phone, find an app, find a bottle. The average person's not going to do that. The average American consumer does not do that.
Today. And that's what I said
No,
earlier.
but I mean, you're obsessing a little too much about the wine. I don't think people go, honey, we really need to go to this restaurant because I can buy this one glass of wine there. That sounds like a little bit.
You know what? I'm going to so disagree with you on this. I mean, a little bit. Because, this whole foodie revolution is just picking up steam. Everybody is sort of wanting to get on board. I actually think this might be becoming a way for people to enjoy wine and be able to acquaint themselves with wine better. And also, I think it's an opportunity for the labels themselves, right, to utilize you. I think you should be able getting revenues from the labels, okay, as well as the restaurants. I'm a little bit concerned about charging the restaurants, but I really do like the idea that it's driving people to the restaurants. So you're working on both ways of customers, acquiring customers.
Absolutely.
Where the restaurants are working with you to drive people right to acquire, you're acquiring for the brand, for the labels. I think there's a lot of win-win-win. So tell me what keeps you up at night. What are your biggest challenges right now?
For me, it's the scalability piece, the growth of both sides of this equation.
So tell me about the growth. What's been going faster? What are the biggest problems there?
Yeah, so chicken or egg? Do you onboard the restaurants? Do you onboard consumers? How do you incrementally achieve
Right.
that?
How are you doing it now?
Yeah, so right now we've been working with 5 core restaurants in our local area, and we've been onboarding around
Which area?
them. Buffalo, New York.
What's the average cost of the glass of
Buffalo,
wine?
New York?
Buffalo,
Yes.
New York. Ah,
Do they have wine there?
Buffalo? Somebody? One? All right.
I've been to some tailgate parties there.
You're succeeding in Buffalo, New York?
What's the average price for a glass of wine? Like, what's the average in Buffalo, New York, and what's your average?
This is awesome. Good question.
That's a really
So
good
our
question.
average through the OpenBottle network is between $20 and $25 for a glass of wine.
That's up there.
We do have some across our, we do cover a range. We're definitely doing some A/B testing on the overall pricing.
You guys, and three of you, all disagree with me on this. You think that that's normal. That because I think that's not normal.
That is not, in fact.
That's not normal.
That's
Normal
worrisome.
dining America doesn't spend $20-25 a
Yeah.
glass of wine.
Your price point is
how many
high.
people here want to pick a restaurant, buy a $20-25 glass of wine, use this app?
Not going to happen.
Oh, I got one. I got two.
Oh.
Three.
I'm just.
Oh.
All I'm trying to make the point is I like what you're doing. I just think it's nichey.
Well, I think the price point is really problematic.
And I think
Right.
we can work on driving the price points down as we demonstrate value to the restaurant. Value to the restaurant.
We all know
value
people
to
will
the brand.
spend $1,000 on a bottle of wine. That's fine, but that's not normal.
That's also not the market that we're after. That's
But
not
even
the-
$200. I mean, the one we just had back there was probably $200. That's
no
not
kidding.
normal.
So I'm not.
I would say the average glass of wine in Buffalo is $8.
So the
So
pricing.
the house wine, absolutely, it's $8.
So
the house wine is
tell us about
garbage.
so how much traction do you have on this? How many customers do you have?
So
We've
have
got 5 restaurants.
Yep, in Buffalo, 5 restaurants. We've sold over 200 glasses of high quality wine over the last 3 months.
In 3 months.
Yeah,
Isn't
It's
the
on
question-
fire.
Buffalo, New York. Oh, I'm so sorry.
But
gotta
isn't
come.
the
I've never
question-
been. I'm sure it's a lovely place.
This is my point. This is, I
she's right.
I
isn't
think
the
this is a
question how
very
much-
thin
Where
slice
is
of the
Buffalo,
wine
New York?
market. It's a very thin slice of the upper. It's for pretty rich people.
Oh, you know what? If you can get the pricing right,
They don't control the price. Doesn't the
this is-
restaurant control it?
So it is a good point. We work with a restaurant to set a glass price. We have a glass price calculator that helps them. So that we've found over these 200 glasses, it drives volume into the restaurant or not. So there's some hits or misses, and we're optimizing that pricing. Over time, though, I think when we really start to demonstrate the value to the restaurant, that number one, they're taking that locked up inventory. Some restaurants have tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars of wine in their cellars, and we're turning that inventory into cash
So what if
flow.
they sell it
also
way
that-
cheaper as a loss leader to get them in?
That's an option for the restaurant as
It's
well.
not
me there's a
so
deal you-
with
For
great.
sure.
That's a great, but way cheaper doesn't buy it. I think we can do some things with the sharing economy that
Because
we're
your
Right.
proposition is you're going to get an expensive glass for most people of a great bottle of wine. I'm not sure there's that many people that want that in a mass market. I mean, as you rise up to, how many people here spend $20-25 a glass when you go out and have a glass of wine?
but I think the
I
pricing.
mean, it's very, very thin. I mean, right here, that was like 2% of the audience. I'm telling you, it's a very, very thin.
I think the pricing is a big issue.
But Michael, respectfully,
Yeah.
truly, we've moved 200 glasses, high-end
Which
glasses
is
in
nothing.
Buffalo.
In Buffalo, New York.
nothing. No, there's nothing wrong with
What were they
Buffalo.
doing before?
Except the
What were
bills.
these restaurants doing
I'm-
before?
Yes.
And then after with your solution?
Yeah. What
sorry,
is it
say again,
increase
please.
the
What were
revenue?
they? How much of was there in an increase in sales
New
between
business.
what they were doing before?
Was this
and
new
after?
business?
Josh,
for them?
you're actually,
It-
there you go.
No, so thank you, Josh.
And,
That's what matters, right?
It's a new business.
What's that?
so the availability of a $20-25 glass isn't there today. Today you have to buy that bottle. Today that's $150, $175.
But who buys that bottle today? I mean, who goes in and buys 100?
It's not
I know
about
you
today.
do.
It's not about
I
today.
don't. But I mean, I'm telling you, not many people do. I'm trying to make the point is, people who go to wine clubs love you.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Which is like this
One
much.
of the biggest.
We
one
have
of the
to
biggest.
go.
I got one.
I don't think this is going to slow down.
It's okay.
Okay.
We have
Great,
to
though.
cut it right here.
Can
Very
I add
good
one?
feedback.
If you open the app today, there's $12 and $14 glasses in there as well.
Okay.
And those
Okay, there you
$12 and $14 glasses include tax and tip, so that's all in there
Okay.
already.
So
But
it
you
is a
should have
price
said
thing.
that
Yes.
before.
And
When we said.
That's the price thing you want, right?
Right,
And one
but
of
that's
them-
what it
More
should be.
interested, right?
You should be saying
Thanks,
we
Dan.
have
Thanks,
the range
Scott.
between the 14 and the 25.
Thank you, Jillian.
And free wine for everybody.
One of them's a Wine Spectator Top 50 as well.
You gotta like them though, right? Nice guys.
I love them.
Can I make a comment on the people that came out? The number one thing you look for in these startups, because it's a very early stage, is Can you work with them and can they pivot? All companies pivot no matter what. They'll pivot. All these companies are going to pivot 5 times. Yeah. But can you work with them as a person? Are they likable and will they pivot? That's it. Yeah. You're betting on the person. You're betting on the founders because whatever you're starting with here ain't going to end is not going to end with.
You've got to like the person.
All right, let's recap these companies.
Okay, lay it on the line. Go ahead.
So we had Honeyfi first, the app that lets couples manage finances together. One person likes that. CBlocks, a website. This is not correct. It's not a website. A USB stick that hopes to be people's gateway into crypto. Michael's rolling his eyes. And OpenBottle, the app that gives people access to otherwise unaffordable fine wine.
Can we cheat a bit and actually say, okay, how many people would use Honeyfi? Raise their hands. Wait, how many people use Honeyfi that are not here for the founders? Okay?
Okay, now crypto. How many people are going to use a crypto key? Who's buying it? And who's buying a glass in Buffalo? Let's say it was here.
Wait,
yeah, let's
stop.
say it's here.
Forget about Buffalo. Who would use this to kind of buy a glass that maybe they haven't tried before?
For $25.
No, for 14.
That's the starter.
No, look at all those hands.
You're going to spend $25 on a glass tonight.
Yeah, this Shiraz. This is an excellent bottle of Shiraz.
Does he? Does he really spend $25?
Yes.
You're gonna have a great dinner tonight.
Yeah.
So this is gonna work.
So have you already made up your minds? You guys don't need to chat this out anymore?
I made up my mind.
I made up my mind.
Okay.
I know he's gonna go for Honeyfi. It really needs a better branding.
Don't respond to that.
Okay.
Do you know what she's gonna pick?
Oh yeah, absolutely. He knows what I'm
She's gonna pick the crypto. Because she started knowing, is she?
Bite me.
This happens all the time.
All right, let's bring the founders back out.
You don't understand me.
Yes. Yes, I don't. Yes, I fucking don't.
Good answer.
That's all right. Neither does any.
There we go.
Here we go.
All right. This is the moment of truth. Who wants to go first?
Jillian does.
No, she doesn't. Okay, I'll go first because I'm courageous. The Honeyfi, I think, is inherent. There are a lot of complications in it, and I really do see that it might be more of a service than a product. I worry about Honeydew being out so far, and I haven't heard a total differentiator. But on the other side, you have such a deep banking and your acumen, your expertise. So as a team, I would put your team probably first because of your background and the fact that I know you're going to do this well.
So you're picking Honeyfi?
No. So, okay. I still see this as a slightly dump, okay? It could be perceived as that. I do realize that you had to move to Canada. You must have, because there are too many gray areas regulatory here in the United States. I actually think you're onto something really amazing, okay? And for the same reasons I didn't like Robinhood, I don't like this because I think there's a lot of irresponsibility in this. But I also believe that you need to keep going and people need to have better engagement with crypto. I think blockchain is not going to be just a disruptive technology. I think it's going to be a foundational one for this world. And so I like the fact that you're giving people an on-ramp. I'm still very worried about how the process you're using. So for that reason, I'm going to pass on you.
So OpenBottle.
You know what, guys? I kind of love this. And maybe it's because I am invested in so many restaurants. I see this really doing well. I know there are a lot of wines that I always want to try.
I have to cut you off because we are at time and I have a feeling we're going to have a tiebreaker here.
Yeah. So,
sorry, I didn't mean to.
OpenBottle. I really like you guys as founders. I could work with you. You guys are great guys. I think that you are going to pivot this. I don't think the business model as it is works. I think it's too niche, too expensive. I think there's a way to get people into expensive bottles on the cheap somehow, and I think you're going to figure that out. I'm actually interested in the business, and I want to have a conversation with you after. I'm not uninterested in investing. I actually like you guys and think you have something. And I like the fact you're in Buffalo, actually. I like the fact you're starting there. Crypto, I like this space a lot. I think what you're selling, the product's wrong. I think you're going into an interesting direction. The product isn't right for me. I think you make a lot of good points. I think you can probably just sell a Bitcoin key to a lot of people and you're probably doing them a favor or something maybe. But I don't like the randomness.
Michael turns to Honeyfi.
If I were to invest in a company today and I think I can scale it and sell it, it's yours. Let me tell you why I'd invest in you. Essentially, I like you a lot. I think you're a great guy. I like the reason you started the business. Entrepreneurs that start businesses because they have a need are the best, and you guys too. And I think that what you're doing is that you can scale quick. And if I invested in you, I bet you we could sell you to an FI within the next 3 years and do terrifically well. I think I can make a lot of money out of you. That's why I'd probably invest. So it's you.
All right. We have a tiebreaker on our hands. So I think we're going to have the audience choose the winner.
Totally.
How do you guys feel about this?
Totally.
All right. Who thinks Honeyfi should take home the prize today? Big it up. Okay. All right. Who thinks OpenBottle should take home the prize? Folks, it's pretty clear. The winner is Honeyfi. Rami! Hey, congratulations, guys. How do you feel?
Awesome. It's awesome. Thank you. And thank you.
Did you think you'd win?
I don't know. Not really. But I mean, yes, of course. Just edit that, please.
I will absolutely not. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming out. Thank you all the founders for coming out. Jillian, Michael, you guys are legends as always. And I do want to say thank you to my team, Kareem, Molly, Blythe, and those who aren't here, Lisa and Enoch Kim. We have a fantastic team who's working hard week in and week out to bring these episodes out. So anyway, and thank you all for coming out. It's been a blast. The Pitch will be back August 15th. So don't miss it. I'll see you guys. So what you just heard was the very first live show for The Pitch. We had a great time, and we think the audience did too. But I want to know, what do you think? We're thinking about doing more live shows in the future, so we want to know, did you like it? And would you come to one of our live shows in person? Let us know on Twitter at The Pitch Show, or send a quick email to thepitch@gimletmedia.com. If you're an entrepreneur raising money for your startup, you can apply to pitch on our show by going to thepitch.show/apply. Our next taping will be this November in New York City. And as always, thanks for listening. We'll be back with our new season in 2 weeks on August 15th. Get ready.